intrigued by the stories of women from the Old Testament, particularly the ones who are kind of wild, you know. And I wanted to look into their stories and all the ways that they had been branded, you know, prostitute, witch, you know, disposable daughter. And I wanted to take another look at their stories and find out what was really there and kind of smash the brands, you know, like I'd kind of done in my own life. And so I did, and I wrote all these songs based on several women's stories who I consider the wild, untamed women of the Old Testament. And I just kind of made their songs into modern stories.
Nobody plays by the rules. In the politics of justice, yeah, you got battered by the way. Your vessel near corrupted, but it will all wither away. She said, all those deals that you made, she said, for a better world, now you want yourself to save. So what if the world is tomorrow? She's gotta let on you. Feels so good to be seen by someone else. See you through. What if the world ends tomorrow?
Huldah is this female prophet that no one really knows about. You know, she's kind of chosen over Jeremiah to prophesy over the scrolls that King Josiah finds hidden in the temple walls as he's doing his temple reform. And, you know, nobody knows about her. And my Hebrew professor said, why don't you write a song about Huldah? And I said, who's Huldah? And so doing some research into who she was and how respected she was as a female prophet. Very few people know about that. And so, but it's there, you know, it's plain as day in the text. So I kind of just wanted to unhide a lot of these women.
Maiden of the storm.
She's the anti-heroine of the wise woman, like the perfect woman. So if you were going to be the perfect woman in the book of Proverbs, you could read chapters 1 through 9 and find out all the things that you need to be. You know, like you need to have dinner on the table at 6, you know, you need to always be prepared for every, you know, kind of social event that comes up in your life. You need to raise your children well. You need to be the perfect wife, you know, all of these things. That's the good and the wise woman. And then you have the strange woman who's what they call woman folly. And she's the one that leads men astray, you know, she's the temptress that men, good guys need to stay away from her, you know. And so I think every woman can relate to that, you know, at some point in your life, if you sort of go off the beaten path of what's expected of you, especially as women, then you get labeled, you know, you get labeled in so many ways, you know, whore, you know, temptress, Jezebel, you know, all these names can be put on you. And I think, you know, what I see in the song is that, you know, God has created all of these things, you know. I quote Ecclesiastes in the song, what God has made crooked cannot be made straight. And so we have to accept the broken, you know, with the whole.
It's not mine anymore.
Deborah's my favorite. She's a prophet, a poet. She's a judge, and so people come to her to get all of their disputes solved. And she's chosen, and she prophesies through her poetry, which is beautiful. She has a very beautiful way of expressing herself as very tough, but also very compassionate. And yeah, I think she's great. She's a good model for me. There's a part 2 coming out with wisdom literature. I got a grant from the Lilly Foundation to write my next CD on wisdom literature. And so I'm going to be looking at the books of Ecclesiastes and Job and Song of Songs and looking at, the whole wisdom tradition. And so many rock songs have been written out of the book of Ecclesiastes anyway. I mean, pretty much every rock song is about Ecclesiastes. About life is crazy, and how do I find meaning in the midst of this human experience that I'm having? Where is God in the midst of this? That's going to be my next album. So it is a love. I think the world of the text is a love of mine because I was raised on Bible stories, and I didn't always accept the way that they were taught to me, and so I always thought there was more to the story.
Even with war in the air, a beautiful poem is spun.
My hand was like so frozen. It's so cold in here. It just like froze up completely. Ugh, it's cold.